All right, folks, I'm just going to say it. Screamboat is the kind of movie that makes you question your life choices, like when you go for that second slice of pizza, and by the time it hits your stomach, you regret it deeply. Yeah, it's that kind of movie. You know, the kind that feels like it's been thrown together just to make a quick buck off something with an expired copyright. You might have heard of it. The latest addition to the growing trend of taking beloved public domain characters and turning them into bloodthirsty killers. This one takes Steamboat Willie, the 1928 Mickey Mouse classic, and cranks it up to 11 on the "what even is this" scale. Spoiler alert, it's as ridiculous as it sounds. But let's break it down. So here's the basic premise. Imagine the sweetest, most innocent version of Mickey Mouse you can think of, whistling on a steamboat, happy as a clam. And now, let's throw that version into the sewer and let it mutate into a tiny, murderous rodent. That's Screamboat. The film kicks off with an engineer accidentally setting this bloodthirsty Mickey free. Yes, we're going to call him Mickey for simplicity. And naturally, all hell breaks loose on a Staten Island ferry. But this is where things get messy. The characters are as generic as you can get. We've got Selena, the aspiring fashion designer, Pete the nice guy deckhand, and a few party girls who apparently think they're Disney princesses because, why not, right? Their main purpose? To get picked off one by one in the most predictable ways possible. No twists, no real surprises, just a slow march to who's next. While the kills are, well, gory, they're hardly creative. In fact, it feels like the filmmakers ran out of ideas by the time the opening credits rolled. Oh boy, the performances. I can't decide if the actors are actively trying to be bad or if they just genuinely didn't know what they signed up for. Let's start with David Howard Thornton, who you might know as Art the Clown from Terrifier, a film that's actually entertaining in a weird, gory way. Here, though, Thornton doesn't get to do much besides scurry around in a rat costume and giggle menacingly. He's got that evil pantomime down, but honestly, his role is so underdeveloped that it's hard to care. He's like a dog in a onesie that keeps chasing you around, annoying but not in a fun way. Then there's the cast of generic victims who barely register. Every line of dialogue seems like it was plucked from a 2000s horror movie script template. You've got your token, I'm the one who's going to survive this character, the quirky comic relief who gets dispatched in the most boring way possible, and of course the villainous sidekick, if you can even call Mickey a sidekick at this point. Honestly, I couldn't remember any of their names halfway through because they're all so forgettable. Ah yes, the gore. Now, let's be clear, I'm not opposed to a good bloodbath. But there's a difference between clever gore and throwing gallons of red liquid at the wall in an attempt to be edgy. Screamboat definitely goes for the latter. There are a couple of moments where the blood flows freely, but none of them feel impactful or fun. It's just messy. Even the kills get boring after a while, and you start to realize that it's just Mickey running around, slicing people up without much rhyme or reason. It's like watching someone attempt a jump scare, but they forget to build any tension beforehand. Missed opportunity. Look, I get it, this is a low-budget horror flick, but come on. Some of the lighting choices here are laughable. There's a scene where Selena is about to face off with Mickey in the ferry's men's room, and she's like, "I'll be quick," and then proceeds to walk like she's auditioning for a role in a slow-motion music video. The lighting is so bad that you can't even see what's going on half the time. It's like trying to watch a horror movie with a flashlight shining in your face. Is it dark and scary? No, it's just poorly shot. And don't even get me started on a rat costume. I get that it's supposed to be a creepy take on Mickey, but it ends up looking like something you'd find at a thrift store after Halloween. Maybe if they spent a little more time on design and less on gore effects, it would have been more convincing. I'll give them credit for trying. There are moments where they attempt to inject humor into the absurdity of the situation, but it mostly falls flat. There's a scene where a bachelorette party girl says something like, "I want to be where the people are," and for a split second, I thought they might have stumbled onto something funny. But then, a moment later, she's dead. So much for that joke. It's a shame because these moments of self-aware humor could have made the film a little more enjoyable, but instead, they just feel like half-baked ideas. If you manage to make it through this film without turning it off halfway, no judgment, you might have caught a whiff of what's to come. Yep, Screamboat is apparently setting up a sequel, because why not? In a world where low-budget horror movies keep churning out for quick cash grabs, it's no surprise that Screamboat is following suit. The film ends with a sense of we'll be back, which, frankly, I'm not sure anyone asked for. But hey, if it makes money, they'll keep cranking them out. So what's the final verdict? Honestly, I wouldn't recommend this movie to anyone unless you're looking for something to laugh at with friends. It's a hot mess, a combination of bad acting, poor writing, and confusing gore effects. There are moments where it almost feels like it's self-aware, but then it takes itself so seriously that it's hard to know if it's trying to be a parody or a legitimate horror flick. In the end, Screamboat is the kind of film that leaves you wondering why this was made in the first place. But at least it's so bad, it's almost fun to watch with a group. Just don't expect to be scared, impressed, or even remotely entertained for long stretches. If you really want to see a better take on a beloved character gone wrong, just stick with Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey. At least that one had the decency to not take itself too seriously. So, unless you're a glutton for punishment, skip this one. Trust me, you'll thank me later.